Hello, welcome to this video of Tomb Raider 2 glitch tutorial. Today is going to be about Temple of Xian. So I'm going to explain to you the new Xian skip, which has two ways of doing it. Like, I'm going to show you both ways. There is a quick way, which is a bit technical. So because of some issues that you might have if you are a beginner or something, I will explain to you a slower, a 1 minute slower version, but which is way easier. So you pick the one you want and yeah, you go for it. So a couple of things you need to know before that. So what I'm going to show you is a UK box version of a skip. So the setups and some maneuvers in the wall will be UK box only. So when we'll find a setup for EPC and some stuff about EPC, I might do one about EPC version, but for now it's going to be UK box one. Another thing you need to know is that if you are doing the quickest way of a glitch, of a skip, you will have to change something in the setting of Tomb Raider 2. So I'm gonna show you how to do it because it's not obvious for everyone. So that's it. For the slow skip, you don't need it. You will hear some extra stuff, but it doesn't matter at all if you're doing the slowest one because you're gonna use the timer to time your stuff. So let's go. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to force the window configuration of Tomb Raider 2. So when you open Tomb Raider 2, maybe sometimes or over time, depending of people, you might have a window with configuration about if you play window, if you play in resolution, whatever. And then you click OK and you launch the game. Some people don't have it at all, some people have it sometime. I'm going to show you anyway how to force it if you want to change the thing for Xian skip. So what you need to do, obviously you don't have to do it during the run. You have to set it up before you run. Once it's set it up in Tomb Raider 2, then you can play everything you want without having to set it up again, so don't worry. So how do you force the window? What you need to do is you go into your Tomb Raider 2 folder, you right click on Tomb Raider 2 exe, which is Tomb Raider 2 UK box here because I want to show it that you use UK box. You create a shortcut, so right click and create a shortcut, and you will have your shortcut here or on the desktop. I'm gonna put here so you can see, and then you're going to right click on the shortcut and you're gonna go into propriety, and you're gonna have that window, and you should have target here, which is the translation of this in French, and whatever you have here you don't really give them. You go to the very right of this, and what you're gonna do is you can just add space dash or minus, both works, and you're gonna write setup, and you're gonna just validate pressing OK. It might ask you some administrator's rights, so you press OK and continue or whatever. You validate everything and you're good. You have your configuration file. Then you just have to double click and you're going to have a new window like this that will open every time you launch that shortcut. So this is not a way to launch the game anymore. You will have to have something else to launch. You will have to use the other exit to launch the game, but this is a way to have a setting file. So anyway, once you are here, this is pretty simple. What you need to do, you can change some stuff if you want, but you need to go to sound to make the glitch thing. So by default, the microphone position will be put as camera. You need to set it as Lara. Then you validate and you're good to go. So something you need to know is that when you have your microphone position on the camera, it will change slight things. Not really useful for speedrun, but I'm gonna warn you that it's normal. You have some differences. Like for example, when you're on camera, wherever Lara's feet step, for example, if she's stepping with her left foot, for example, you will hear the sound on your both ears. But if you set it as Lara, you will hear your foot sound on the left ear only if you're stepping left, and on the right one if you're stepping right. So that's a possibility of change that you need to get used to it. It's not too bad, but just so you know. So you set it as Lara, you press OK, and no, I can delete this because I already have one, so it doesn't really matter for me, but you can keep it. And then you're gonna launch your game, and you're gonna have the sound clue active. So here we go again. So for me, it opened it for some reason, but whatever. So, and then we are here and we are ready to do the Xian skip. So the first version is going to be the slow one because it's the most simple one and whatever, I do whatever I want. So you're going to need a timer for this. Don't worry, you don't need to have a manual timer on purpose just for that level. You will just have to have a timer on during your run. So it doesn't matter if it's the timer of your run, if it's a timer of a level, it doesn't matter. You just have to do some math, not too complicated, don't worry, and you'll be able to do it. So, how do you do that? So first we need a setup. So I'm gonna set my keys first, up. So I put the audio of the game a bit higher than usual for this tutorial because you need the sound clue for this, but don't worry, you will be able to do it. So, first, what you need to know is you need to do a setup for a slow skip. So first, what you need to know is you have a setup from the start of a level, which is pretty fast, and there is almost no other way to do it without the setup. Like the position is really precise to do the corner bug because you want a specific position to start on, and trust me, it's too precise to do it in a full run YOLOing. So you kinda need a setup. So first of all, what you need to know about the setup is you need to press forward and do a running jump. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to do this. You don't want to do your running jump at the first frame of a level. What you want to do is you want to skip the stat screen, obviously. And once you see Lara standing like this, then you can do your running jump. So why I'm saying that? Because if you run straight without waiting a bit, like 1 or 2 frames to see Lara standing, it will mess up the position of a setup. So just be careful about that. So up. So you do 2 running jump, up, and then when you land here, you will do a standing jump, and you will do a standing jump holding forward, left, and action. So you will have to do this, and this is important that you release your buttons before you land, because what's going to happen is that if you, for example, if you do it, but if you keep holding left when you land, you will see that she's turning when she's landing because you press left. So you have to stop holding left before landing, or it will mess up the setup. So this is the only thing you need to know about that part. So you do a standing jump, pressing over ski and releasing them before you land. So this is important that you hold the keys at the start of a jump, and you can release it at the point where Lara start grabbing, because then you can't move anymore. And then you need to do another standing jump, nothing important about this one, just a standing jump. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do another standing jump, but you're going to do a standing dive jump holding right. So this might sound barbaric, but don't worry, it's not too hard. You want to do a standing jump, but you want to do a dive, so you hold a walk doing that jump, and you're gonna hold also the right button to go slightly to the right. And this is the same principle. You don't want to keep holding right until you finish the thing. You want to stop holding right when she's starting her dive, like this. Up. You should lose a bit of health from fire here, don't worry. And you will be in that spot. Just press forward and you are in the position to do your corner bug. So, again, up, you wait, two running jump, standing jump holding left and grabbing, standing jump, dive, standing jump holding right. You will be in that spot. And then forward and you're good to go. So I'm not gonna enter into much detail about the setup, because it's not that hard. Just practice a bit pressing forward, left, and grab. practice releasing the buttons, and then do the same for the dive roll. You should have this outcome every time, don't worry, it's not too bad once you practice. Then forward, and then you're at the corner bug. So the corner bug is pretty simple. You need a roughly 45-degree angle like this. And you will be able to, oh, well, actually, saying it's not too bad, but I miss it. So you need roughly a 45-degree like this. Up, and you are able to do 3 jumps like this. And you will be inside the wall, as you can see. So you don't want to overshoot or undershoot the corner bug, because if you undershoot it like this, you will be like this and you won't go inside the wall, and it's not good for the setup. You also don't want to overshoot it like this, because if you do 3 jumps, you will be a bit inside the wall, but you won't be able to turn and press forward. You will be pushed out by the wall, because you won't be embedded enough. So you really want to have an angle like this, 45 degree. I don't really have visual cue, but don't worry, with some practice it's going to be pretty easy. It's pretty lenient, so don't worry about it. So you do 3 jumps like this, you're going to see her clearly enter. If you don't see her in this position, it means you mess up something. So if you mess up something, you need to reload from the start of this level, or your last save, or whatever, because trust me, there is no way you can recover it manually. So once you're in these spots, what you need to do is you need to turn and press forward at the right time to get into the wall. So if you do it too early, you will be like this, and if you do it too late, you will be in this spot, and this is not where you want to go. You want to go and you want to be positioned like this. Oops, I did it too early here. Up. You want to be positioned more like this. So you basically want to have this angle when you press forward, basically. So this just requires slight practice, but don't worry, it's not too bad. Just press left, forward at the right time, and you'll have that spot. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you press really early or really late, as long as you enter in the wall. It will just take a bit more time to be in the right angle when you're inside the wall, so don't worry. So what you do is you just press forward, and then you're gonna hold forward, and you're gonna tap right until you have a camera change. So for example here, maybe because I waited it didn't work, but if you do it quick, you should do it forward, tap right, up, and that will happen. This is what you want. You want that camera change. And if your camera is on Lara, you will hear step sounds, stumble sounds more exactly. If you have a camera, if you have a microphone put on camera, you won't hear anything. But don't worry, you can still do it with a timer. So whatever you do, you have your timer launch, whenever it is. And I'm going to explain to you how to do the rest. So up. So once you're inside, here it doesn't really matter. You tap right. And when you start having that camera here, what you're going to do, actually I'm not going to save right now, because if I save, you're going to have this screen all the way through, so you don't want to do that. But what you want to do is when you have that camera change here, up, this one, you're going to press forward on action, and you're going to hold it for at least 24 seconds. So to do that, to know when it's 24 seconds, for example, you see the timer when you start being inside that wall, and you start pressing forward on action, and you determine when you have to release. So in RTA, for example, if you want to be sure, you want to hold it 25, 26 seconds, because you want to be sure, but this is however you want. So up, for example here, press right, and when it changes, switch your keys, and for example here it started at, let's say, 112, so you have to release forward and right at 136, because 112 plus 24 is 36. And once you are at 26, what you're going to do is you're going to switch from your keys right now to walk and backwards. So what you can do, we are 136, you can stop. It doesn't matter if you do it more, as long as you don't do it less. Like if you're pressing for 23 seconds, it's not good. If you press it for 30 seconds instead of 24, it doesn't matter. So it's better to overshoot that undershot. Anyway, so once you counted your first 24 seconds, what you need to do is you need to switch to walk and backwards. So now you need to press walk and backwards. And you need to do that for 30 seconds and hold it. So for example, let's say it started at 2:09, I think. So you hold it until the timer shows 2:39, because 2:09 plus 30 is 2:39. So you do that, and then you're gonna do the same, and when it's gonna reach 2:39, you're gonna switch your key again to forward and action again, and you're gonna count 24 seconds again. So for example here, let's say it's 2:30. So if you switch key at 240, sorry, you're gonna have to press forward and right until 3:04, because 240 plus 24 equals 3:04. And the second time you're gonna press forward and action, you're gonna have a camera change like this. So if you have that camera change, it means you did it good at the start. So I don't remember when it started right now because I wasn't checking, but let's say it started at 3:10, so I'm gonna hold it until 3:34. And then you need to switch again to backward and on walk for 30 seconds again. So let's say it started at 3:27. So you have to keep holding now backward and walk until 3:57. So let's make it 58 to be sure. When you start, it's better to be sure. So you need to do it a second time like this, and then we're gonna have an extra time when you're gonna have to do forward plus right, forward plus action, and you got to do it for 24 seconds again. Up, up. So you do it again, and so now it should be at 4:24, and it should be good. And once you did it the third time, once you pressed the forward and action motion the third time, then you don't need to do it again. You're in the good spot to press roll 2 times. I think it's, yeah, I think it's that. You press roll 2 times and you should glitch up. Yep, maybe I forgot something. Well, maybe I was explaining on waiting, so maybe change something, but that's what you need to do. So, do I need to add something? I'm gonna show it in the full motion one time, don't worry. But that's what you need to do. So let's do it again. So you turn, press forward, tap right, up, hold action and forwards. So for example, it started at 4:59, so we have to go until 5:23. So we're gonna do that. And then you're gonna have to switch. And from 5:23, we're gonna go walk and backward until 5:53. Because you need to do some math. Don't worry, it's pretty much basic math. So yeah. Up. So I'm gonna round it to 5:54 to make it sure. So there is nothing else to talk about right now. So we're just waiting. Up. So up. Come on, 5:53. I said 5:53. Yeah, I think I did. And then you skip. So 5:54 to 6:18. Sorry. So we're gonna have to go until 6:18 because I'm bad at math. Up. Up. And then you do it again. Up. So 6:18 until 6:48. So I'm gonna round it to 6:50 to be sure. Up. So as you can see, this is really boring, but this is the easiest way to do it. Like, trust me, this is the easiest way. And it's 1 minute slower, but yeah, this is easier. And one last time, up. So now it's going to be until 7:14, if you do your math correct. Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, yeah, I forgot the last part. Yeah, that's why it failed the first time. So sorry, I forgot about something. So 7:18. And what you need to do is you need to do the backward thing again. So walk and backward. But you need to do it for 3 or 4 seconds only max. So for example, up. So for example here, it should be good. You press roll 2 times. And you land here at the top of this first room here. And then you can go here, around the corner here. Oops, sorry. And you go here to the end of a level, which the trigger is here. So you reach the end directly from the start. And you're good to go. So this is the first Xian skip. So I hope it was clear about the timing and stuff. If not, you can just ask in the description, obviously. So again, I'm going to repeat it. When you press, the first time you press forward and right, forward and action for 24 seconds. Then you switch to backward plus walk for 30 seconds. Then you switch back to forward and action for 24 seconds. Then you switch back to backward and walk for 30 seconds more. Then you do forward and action for 24 seconds again. And then you press backward and walk for at least 2 seconds, but to be sure you do 3 or 4 seconds. And then you press roll 2 times and you get out and you've done it. So basically it's 24, 30, 24, 30, 24, 2 or 4. Depending if you want to be sure or not. And yeah, then you don't need the timer, don't worry. So you do it with a timer, and if you, as I said, if you use the camera position, you won't hear all those tumble sounds that can be horrible when you do it, so don't worry. If you are doing the slow skip, you don't need the camera, you don't need the lara position. So this was the slowest version of Xian skip. So now let's go to the big stuff and learn about the quick version. So we don't need a timer anymore. Up. So to do it, you have also a setup which is the same condition. You need to wait to see Lara standing still before doing the first running jump. The setup is different, so because you're doing it on the other side of a wall, you will see. But it's relatively similar. So you do 2 running jump like this. When you do the same thing, you do standing jump, holding forward, right, and grab like this, up. And then you do a standing jump, and you do a normal, maybe I did it wrong, up, like this. Oh, actually, never mind, I think I'm mistaken. No, okay, it's because I did it slow, okay. So, sorry about that. So you do running jump, just like I said with a grab, standing jump, and you do a dive like this, and should have a stumble here, and you sidestep, and you are at the right spot. So don't worry, the dive jump is not a one pressing left or right, it's just a normal dive jump. So I'm gonna do it again, so 2 running jumps, standing jump, pressing right and grab, standing jump, dive jump, sidestep, and you're good to go. So this one is a bit easier. But don't worry, the rest is way harder. So, you're gonna have to use sun clue a lot. So, you do this, up, sidestep left, and then you're gonna have to overshoot your corner bug lineup. So, because what you want to do is you want to jump 5 times like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, but you want to overshoot your, as you can see, my the angle of my lara is really big because I'm gonna show you why. So, for example, here is a position you can see lara is embedded where it will work like this. So for example, this will work. So, if you are having a 45-degree corner bug, well, if you are doing overshooting to the right, that will happen. But if you're having that angle, for example, and if you try to do 5 jumps, you will embed before. You will embed the 4th jump like this, and that is not good. It make the glitch don't work because your position is bad. So this is the first thing to know. So you need to have a big angle like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, it wasn't enough. As you can see, the angle really has to be big. You almost have to be lined up with a corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. So this should be good. I'm gonna save. And then what you have to do is you have to do the same thing. Turn and press forward at the right time. Keep holding forward, and now you're gonna tap left to have the same camera angle as in the other skip. So, oops, didn't press at the right time. Up, turn up like this. Up. Why doesn't it work? Yeah, like this. So okay. Yeah. So for this one, you need to press forward when you are roughly at this angle. If you press when you are at this angle, it's likely that it won't work. You will get pushed out the wall. Yeah, I forgot about that. So you turn up, press forward, and then you tap left again, and you do exactly the same thing. When the camera changes like this, it means you are in the void, and you need to hold action and forward. And this time, you don't want to look at timers. You want to count 38 stumble sound. So this is a bit boring, but this is how it works. So up, tap left, changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So don't worry, I will save. I will get a save here, don't worry. So what's happening here, you stop when you are the 38 step zone. It's the same if you overshoot it, don't worry, it's a fine. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw your guns, so the health bar should appear here. You're going to buffer 2 times to the right, 2 times in a row. So 1, 2. So if you buffer, you can do it without buffering, but it's obviously less precise, you can fail it. But if you use the buffers, then you will have the buffer background, you will have the inventory background all the way through the glitch. So I hope your eyes can handle it. So you buffer 2 times right, then you roll, should hear the roll sound, and then you buffer 2 times left in a row. So 2 times right, roll, 2 times left. Up, and then what you're gonna do is I'm gonna save first, and what you want to do is you want to do what we call a backward motion, because what you're doing when you do that glitch is basically you have to travel 3 blocks inside the void, but there are a couple of things, technical stuff that needs to be think about to do this glitch. And what we need to do is you need to travel the first block, which what we did, and then you need to go to block 1 to block 2, because you can't directly go from block 1 to block 2 with just pressing forward. You have to do the backward motion that we're going to do here to travel between blocks. So how do you do that? There is 3 ways of doing it. There are 3 ways, of doing it. So this is basically the same thing you're gonna do, but you're gonna do it with different ways because some are easy, some doesn't work in some keyboard, and etc. So the first one is the most complicated one because it's the YOLO one. So what you need to do here is you need to press Um, oh wait. Actually, I will have to pause the video because I need to add an extra keys to my software keys to show you what's happening. So yeah, be right back. Okay, so here we go. You can see I have a new key. So there are three ways of doing the next thing. So first, the YOLO way. So that's what you have to do in theory. So you have to press backward. You have to release backward, and in the next 1 or 2 frame, when you release backward, you need to press forward. So like this, kinda. I need to hear this tumble sound. So this is 2 frame window, because if you press forward too early, it will mean you press backward and forward at the same time. And if you do, you get pushed out because you're rolling. So you have 2 frame window, and you need to do it 7 times in the whole skip, and 5 times in a row the first time. So as you can guess, it's pretty hard, especially for Tomb Raider people that are, well, we are not used to that because we generally use setups and stuff and using buffers and etc. So we have to find a way to make it consistent, and you have 2 ways of making consistent. So the first way is just pressing left and pressing forward quickly and hoping we don't press it at the same time or that happens. So this is pretty hard, and I absolutely not recommend that to anyone. So the first way, alternate way of doing it is to use the ghosting of your keyboard. So what's a ghosting for people not familiar? Ghosting is when your keyboard can't handle when you're pressing 3 keys at the same time. So for example, right now, I'm pressing 3 keys at the same time, which are W. Actually, it's not W I'm pressing, but yeah. So for example, right now I'm pressing 3 keys at the same time, pressing W, backward, and forward. But because I have a ghosting, because that means my keyboard can't press the 3 keys at the same time, it doesn't register when I press forward. So we're gonna use that to our advantage. So the ghosting is different for everyone, and if you have a mechanical keyboard, there is high chances that you won't have any ghosting. So you will have to use the other alternate way. So to summarize, if you have a bad keyboard, it's good for this skip. So this is how it is, I'm sorry. So how are we going to take advantage of that? I'm going to show you. So first you need to find your ghosting key. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in the description. You're going to click on the link I'm going to give you, and it's a link where you will have a keyboard on your screen, and you will be able to register keys. So when you press the keys, it will register it. It will make it a bit bigger. And you need to find your ghosting key. So how you do that, you press forward and backward, and you hold it at the same time. And what you're going to do is simultaneously, you're going to press other keys randomly. That's important to mention, that you need to try other keys that are not in your Tomb Raider setting keys. Because obviously if you press backward and forward, but you press roll, if your ghosting is roll, obviously the problem is that you will roll. And if you roll, you will get pushed out the wall, for example. So this is important that you press keys that you don't use in Tomb Raider. So you press backward and forward and test keys, and you will eventually fall on the keys that doesn't register when you press it. So and once you get that, this is gonna be your ghosting keys. So for me it's W, for you it might be something else, doesn't matter. So how are you gonna proceed? So this is pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to press your ghosting key and hold it, press your backward key and hold it. It can be actually in the other way, doesn't really matter. And then you're gonna press forward. So for example here I'm pressing forward, but it doesn't register because of a ghosting. And then you're holding it, and then you're going to release backward. And once you release backward, you will hear that step sound, and you won't get out the void. That means it worked. So why does it work? It works because you're pressing 2 keys. You're pressing a third key, which is forward. And when you're going to release backward, because you're releasing backward, the ghosting will be cancelled, and then it will skip to W plus right. But it will skip W plus right one frame after you release backward. So for the game, what's happening is that you're pressing backward, and when you release backward, you're pressing forward immediately after. So that works. That's why it works. If you didn't get that explanation, don't worry, it's fine. Just know that you have to press ghosting and backward, press forward and hold it, release backward, and it will work. Up, up. And you need to do that 5 times in a row at the start of this skip. So that's the first alternate way. What is the second alternate way? So it's slightly slower, like really slightly, 1 or 2 seconds, but it doesn't involve ghosting, and it's, in my opinion, slightly easier, but it shouldn't make too much difference. So, what's the other way? The other way is you press backward, you press jump, you shouldn't hear anything, you release backward, you press forward, and you release jump, and you heard the step sound. It means it works. So you press backward and jump, release backward, press forward, release jump, and you will do it. So this is a sequence you need to do 5 times in a row. Backward, jump, release backward, forward, release jump, and you need to do that a couple of times in a row. So if you do it too fast as I just did, I just press backward and forward at the same time and I get pushed out. So this is important that you get used to the mechanic of your finger doing that in a row. So backward, jump, release backward, forward, release jump, and you do that 5 times in a row. So 1, 2, if I remember right, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, this is slightly slower than doing this. So this is slightly faster. Ghosting is slightly faster. So this is the 2 ways, well actually the 3 ways of doing this part. So you need to do a backward motion 5 times in a row like this. What you need to do also at the same time, because you just buffered with the guns out, what you want to do at the same time, you want to pull a flare. So before starting your backward motions, you want to pull a flare, because you will need to use a flare just after a backward motion. So what you do is you light a flare, and then you do your backward motion the way you want it. What am I pressing? Yeah. Up. So for example, here I'm good. Did it 5 times. So I'm gonna save here. And now, if you do a backward jump, you are able to jump backward. So there are 2 cases right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to jump backward, and you need to count 9 short jumps. So what's a short jumps? When you will jump backward, you have 2 outcomes. The first one is you hear a full jump. So let's try to hear. Up. So for example, here it wasn't. But if you jump backward, you might hear. So here, for example, I have short jump. But if you have a long jump, you will hear Lara jumps. You will hear her for 1 or 2 seconds doing nothing, and you will hear her landing. That will be a long jump. This is completely clear that it's different to a short jump. Short jump is this. You jump, and you immediately stumble. But if you jump and you have a long jump, like this, as you can hear, there is a time between when you jump and when you stumble. So if you have a long jump, that means you didn't move. Don't ask me why, please. Don't ask me why. This is the rule is in the void. It's because of of odd and even frame number. This is an issue. So if you have a long jump, that means you didn't move. So you don't count that jump as a backward jump. You don't count it. You need to count only small jumps or short jumps, depending on you call it. So you need to do 9 short jumps. So if you have a long jump, you need to use a flare cancel to make it a short jump later. So for example, if you do a short jump, you do a long jump, You flare cancel and you will have a short jump. That's the rule. So this is important to have flares here, because if you want to do um, 9 jump backwards in a row, this is gonna be long. Listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But if you flare cancel, listen to what's going to happen. So what I just did is I cancelled 4 or 5 stumble. So she was able to do directly jump backward, jump backward, jump backward, jump backward. So you need to just hear the stumble sounds, and as you can hear, this is way faster. So that's why it's important to use flares there, because it makes it really faster. Like it saved like, I don't know how much time, but maybe like 10 seconds or something, maybe a bit less, maybe 8 seconds. So if you do it 2 times, you will save 10-15 seconds at least. It depends. You need to time your flag cancel, so you need to cancel as late as possible before the stumble, and you will be able to do more stumble cancel. So this is something that you need to get used to. For example, here, if I jump and oops, did it wrong. If I jump and flag cancel immediately, oops, what's happening? Up. Oh yeah, because I'm not pressing jump. That's why. Because I'm an idiot. Up. So for example, I did 4. Oops. For example, here I did 5, if I remember right. But if you jump immediately and use the flare, oops. Well, she did a long jump, so I was unlucky. But oh, why are you doing? Okay, so for some reason she's doing a long jump now, but whatever. So as you can hear, I did 4 jumps, for example, here. And if I delay slightly before the stumble, I will do 5, for example. So you save a flare cancel. Whatever. This is not something you want to optimize too much when you start, don't worry. But you want to do at least 3 or 4 using one flare. So that's what you need to do. So you need to take care of a lot of things at the same time. When you jump backward, you want to take care if this is a long jump or a short jumps, and you want to flare cancel at the right time. So when you start, you will do only 1 or 2 flare cancel. You will cancel one or 2 stumble at max because you're not used to, but with some practice you will do a lot. So let's try. For example, if I jump backward, oops, what did I do? So let's retry. So for example, jump backward, up. So here I was unlucky because I did a long jump. So let's retry. So 4, you pull another flare, so 5, 6, oops, 7, 8, 9. Maybe I actually didn't contrive, but I just did 9. And once you did 9 short jumps, what you want to do is you want to do another backward motion. So however you want to do it, you do it. So for example, if you want to use the ghosting, you do. And if you want to use the other way, you do. Or if you want to YOLO it, you do. But whatever, you need to do one more backward motion. And then you want to pull a flare before doing that, because you're going to do another backward sequence, and you need to do 11 backward jump this time. So for example, here got a long jump, and now because I used the flare cancel, but you didn't hear it because obviously that was a long jump, so I did it early. I managed to turn a long jump into short jumps. So here, for example, I'm at 2, 3, pulling another flare, 4, 5, 6, 7, up, 8, 9, 10, 11. So for example, here I'm at 11, so I'm good. Gonna add 1 for safety because I don't know, for some reason, if you want to have safety, you can overshoot it as usual. And once you're in this position, you are good to do one last backward motion. So which one you want? So the other one is backward, jump, release backward, and forward, up, whatever. So I prefer personally the ghosting one for some reason, but whatever. And once you did this backward motion, you hold roll 2 times, and you glitch up like previously. So as you can see, this is way harder than the first skip, than the slow skip. But this is way faster, like 1 minute if you do it right. And then you go to the end again, like the same thing. So I'm gonna do a whole thing again to show you. So let's restart again, I explain it quickly. So you do the setup, so to running jump, do a thing here, up, dive, side step, overshoot the corner bug, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn, press forward, tap left, up, come on, it's left or right, I think it's left, up, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, in case you're wondering, those stumbles you can hear, you can't cancel them because they are false stumble. So don't try to pull a flare here. Pull out your guns, 2 buffer rights, roll, 2 buffer left, pull a flare, save if you want because this is the hard part. You do your backwards motion with the ghosting, 1, 2, 3, oops, did it wrong. I'm gonna do it the other way to just practice a bit. So backward jump, oops, did it wrong. Backward jump is up, up, and do again. I think it's 3. Oops, I didn't do it for some reason. And don't worry, when you press jump, you will hear the flare for some reason. I have no idea why, so I can't really help you about that, but that's how it works. So I did 5, I think, and then you jump back. So I have a long jump, so I need to cancel it. 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it was 9. I'm just gonna do it one more time to be sure. Then you need to do another backward motion, so you pull another flare if you want. Up, 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 and then you do another backward thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do another backward motion. Up, and press roll time. Oops, and I missed it. Maybe I didn't count right, but you got the ideas. That's the ideas what you need to do. So this is that's why I don't like the third way of doing the backward motion, because it makes jump interfere at some points, and I'm afraid that it messed something. It probably doesn't, but I'm afraid of that. So that's why I'm using the ghosting. So for example here, 1, 2, oops, did I pull a flare before saving? I think I did, yeah. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oops, 10. I did it 10 because actually I counted the first long jump as a jump. I did a mistake, so I counted 10, but I did 9 here. Up. So, and then I ghost again. Up. And then 1. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I did 12, it doesn't matter. And then you do the ghosting again, and roll 2 times, and you get out, and you're good to go to the end of the level. So that was poor attempt for me here, but with some practice you will be able to do it better. And that's pretty much it for Xian skip. So I hope this video was useful. I know that's it's really difficult because you need some clues, you need to use flare in the void, etc. And I'm not specialist. I'm not saying that I know exactly how to do this glitch. I still have to practice. But I hope everything I explained a bit more really helped you doing that. And yeah, if you have any question, you can ask in the description. And thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.